Welcome. Today, we're diving into future trends in shelf life prediction. We'll explore how AI and predictive analytics are transforming the way we understand and extend product longevity. I'm Dr. S.K. Singh, and together, we'll uncover the exciting possibilities this technology brings to the field. Let's get started. Let's start by looking at how shelf life determination has traditionally been done. We've relied on real-time and accelerated stability studies, statistical trend analysis, and strict regulatory protocols. These methods work, but they take a lot of time, resources, and money, and they depend heavily on past testing data. Now, emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and predictive analytics are changing the game. The vision here is a shift from reactive stability testing to something smarter: predictive stability intelligence. When it comes to determining shelf life, we rely on a well-established regulatory framework. This includes guidance from global authorities like the International Council for Harmonization, the World Health Organization, and agencies such as the FDA and EMA, along with the Pharmaceutical Inspection Cooperation Scheme. The current approach uses stability studies, regression analysis, and trend evaluation to assign shelf life. But here's the catch. These predictions often depend on limited data and fixed assumptions, which can restrict accuracy and flexibility. Let's dive into what AI-based shelf life prediction really means. It's about using a mix of data, from how products have held up over time, to their ingredients, the environment they're stored in, how they're made, and even their packaging. All this information feeds into advanced technologies like machine learning, deep learning, and digital twins. The goal: to forecast when a product might start to degrade, so we can predict its shelf life well before any failure happens. When we talk about the data that powers AI models, it's a mix of many different sources. Packaging data tells us about oxygen permeability and moisture barriers, crucial for product stability. Market data tracks distribution patterns and any storage deviations that might happen along the way. Then there's product data, things like assay results, impurity profiles, dissolution rates, and moisture content. Manufacturing data gives insight into process parameters and batch variability. Finally, environmental data covers temperature, humidity, and transportation conditions. Together, these streams feed the AI, helping it make smarter decisions. Now let's look at where machine learning steps in for stability prediction. We're talking about applications like predicting assay degradation, forecasting impurity growth, and even estimating retest dates. Common algorithms fall into three groups. First, supervised learning, including linear regression, random forests, and gradient boosting. Then, deep learning methods like artificial and deep neural networks. Finally, time series models such as LSTM networks, which excel at analyzing trends over time. Together, these tools help us make smarter, data-driven predictions. Here, what we found. Our AI model predicts that the product's specification will fail around 40 months. Based on that, a safe shelf life recommendation would be 36 months, giving a buffer before performance drops below acceptable levels. The tables show how the assay percentage declines over time, both from historical data and the AI's projections. This example focuses on an active pharmaceutical ingredient, illustrating how AI can help us make more accurate, data-driven shelf life decisions. Let's talk about digital twin technology. At its core, a digital twin is a virtual copy of a product that constantly updates itself using real-world data. This lets us simulate how the product behaves over time, especially its stability. The benefits are clear. We can predict how it might degrade, test how it handles different storage conditions, explore packaging options, and assess risks during transportation. For example, a vaccine digital twin can forecast potency loss during temperature changes, without having to wait for lengthy real-time studies to finish. Let's look at how AI transforms continuous stability monitoring. Traditionally, stability programs rely on fixed testing intervals and periodic reviews, a steady but slow rhythm. With AI, we shift to continuous monitoring, real-time alerts, and dynamic risk scoring. This means we can predict failures early before they happen. The benefits are clear: faster decisions, less testing workload, smarter inventory management, and stronger oversight of product quality. It's a smarter, more responsive way to keep products stable and safe. When it comes to AI-based stability assessment, regulators are open to innovation, but they have clear expectations. Agencies like the FDA and the World Health Organization emphasize data integrity as a foundation. They require AI models to be validated, transparent, explainable, traceable, and auditable. The key principle is this: AI can support decision-making, but it must never replace scientifically justified evidence. In other words, AI is a tool, not a substitute for solid science. Let's talk about the challenges we face with AI in this space. On the technical side, we're dealing with limited historical data, which makes training models tricky. Data quality can be inconsistent, and there's always the risk of overfitting, where models perform well on past data but fail in the real world. Plus, the degradation mechanisms we're trying to predict are complex and not fully understood. On the regulatory front, validation requirements are strict. Transparency is key. Regulators want to see how algorithms make decisions. Managing the model's entire life cycle is essential, along with addressing cybersecurity risks. Above all, we must ensure AI outputs stay scientifically defensible during inspections. That's the compliance challenge we can't overlook. Looking ahead, regulatory expectations are evolving fast. We're seeing new ideas like AI-assisted stability programs and real-time release analytics, tools that help us monitor quality as it happens. Predictive shelf life extensions and continuous process verification are changing how we ensure product safety over time. Digital stability management systems are becoming essential. Future submissions might include AI-generated predictions, detailed model validations, digital twin simulations, and predictive risk assessments, all aimed at smarter, more proactive regulation. Looking ahead, AI is set to transform the pharmaceutical industry in powerful ways. We're talking about predicting shelf life for new products, forecasting stability trends, and optimizing retest dates. It can assess the impact of excursions, help choose the best packaging, and predict risks in the supply chain. Managing inventory expiry and extending product life cycles becomes smarter, too. All of this means faster development timelines and better decisions when it comes to regulations, a real game changer for the industry. Let's wrap up by looking at where we stand and where we're headed with shelf life determination. Today, it's still rooted mainly in traditional stability studies and regulatory rules. But the future is shifting. AI and predictive analytics will play a bigger role in forecasting stability, assessing risks, and optimizing shelf life throughout the product's life cycle. Of course, these AI systems need to be validated, transparent, and compliant with good manufacturing practices. The real power comes from combining AI with digital twins and real-time data, making shelf life predictions smarter and more proactive than ever before. That brings us to the end. For any further support or questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for your time and attention. It's been a pleasure sharing this with you. Take care. This video was created with SlideSpeak. Visit SlideSpeak to turn your presentations into engaging AI-narrated videos.